Chapter 17. The Mo family locked the murderer onto Shadow and several other big families, but they didn't expect that it was a martial artist who did it. Therefore, no matter how much the Mo family investigated, it was in vain, because they couldn't find anything at all. The Shadow is dead. How do they find the Shadow? It can be said that as long as Yi Tian does not deliberately reveal the black shadow knife and shadow talent, it is impossible for the Mo family to find him. In the next few days, Yi Tian practiced the body forging method every day, pretending not to know anything, and temporarily avoided the limelight. But the Linhai base caused an uproar because of Mo Xiaobei's death. The death of a medium-level cultivation talent genius made the Mo family completely crazy, and there were fights with several families, and many people died secretly, and finally the dispute was stopped with the intervention of the Lin family, the strongest family in the Linhai base. With the passage of time, the Mo family had not been able to find the Shadow, thinking that the Shadow had escaped from the Linhai base, so they could only admit it. But the reward for the Shadow had not been withdrawn. As long as the Shadow appears, he will face the Mo family's crazy revenge. 10 days later, the Linhai base was calm, and Yi Tian was ready to leave the Linhai base and enter the vast wild to hunt fierce beasts. Only enough fierce beast blood is sufficient for him to cultivate to the martial artist level in a short period of time, and even if he reaches the martial artist level, if he wants to quickly improve his strength, he also needs the assistance of fierce beast blood. But once he is in the wild, he can't come back for a day or two, so he has to explain it to his sister. Yi Tian casually made up a reason, saying that the academy took a group of outstanding apprentices to carry out closed cultivation and would not come back in a short time, and his sister didn't understand it, so she naturally believed it easily. This time, Yi Tian brought 2 knives, a black shadow knife to use when no one was around, and a fine iron knife he had just bought to use when there were people, as well as some daily necessities. When everything was ready, Yi Tian walked towards the outside of the base. East City Gate. A group of soldiers are patrolling. These soldiers are basically martial apprentices, and only the squad leader is a martial artist. After all, warriors are high-ranking, it's impossible to use them to guard the door. In fact, there are many warrior soldiers in the base. After all, once a fierce beast attacks the base, there isn't enough manpower to stop it at all, so they recruit a large number of martial soldiers. Soldier is also one of the most promising professions in the coastal base. Of course, the risk is also high, and I don't know how many soldiers die at the hands of fierce beasts every year. Yi Tian walked through the city gate and walked out, while a soldier looked at Yi Tian's back and shook his head. Another martial artist who wants to get rich overnight. Do you think that the wild is like the base? In less than a day, this kid will die. Obviously, he regarded Yi Tian as the kind of martial artist who risked his life to make money. In fact, there are many such martial artists. Once they are lucky enough to find a fierce beast corpse in the wild, once they bring it back, at least they don't have to work hard for several years. Under the huge profits, there are naturally martial artists who take risks. It is basically safe within a kilometer or 2 outside the base, because if there are fierce beasts entering the base range, they will have been killed by the warriors long ago, unless it is when the beast tide comes. There will be a lot of fierce beasts here. If you want to hunt beasts, you can only go farther. And Yi Tian's destination is a place where fierce beasts live, Shaoqingshan. It is said that 100 years ago, Shaoqingshan was just a small mountain range, but the earth expanded hundreds of times, and Shaoqingshan has also become a huge mountain range, with ancient trees towering and fierce beasts densely populated, as if it has become a paradise for fierce beasts. It is rumored that there are high-level fierce beasts in the depths of Shaoqingshan, and even the existence of high-level fierce beasts and above. I don't know if it's true? Yi Tian thought as he hurried. High-level fierce beasts are terrifying beings that only great martial artists can deal with, and once they encounter them, even elite martial artists will find it difficult to escape. Yi Tian's target was naturally not the depths of Shaoqingshan. He only wanted to secretly hunt a few fierce beasts on the periphery. However, less than 10 minutes after leaving the base, before reaching Shaoqingshan, he encountered a fierce beast. Ironclad bull. Yi Tian looked at the 3-meter-long, huge ironclad bull in front of him with a solemn expression. The ironclad bull is not a rookie beast like the fierce spotted snake. This is a real low-level fierce beast. Whether it's strength or defense, it is far beyond the fierce spotted snake. Even if the average martial artist encounters an ironclad bull in the early stage, he can't help it. Normally, only a few warriors would be able to besiege and kill this ironclad bull. Yi Tian held the fine iron knife in his hand, activated his speed talent, and slashed at the neck of the ironclad bull with a single blow of shadow killing. Thump! The fine iron knife seemed to have hit steel, and the neck of the ironclad bull only showed a white mark. The skin wasn't even broken at all. The quality of this fine iron knife is too poor, and my strength is only 800 caddies, so I can't break through the defense of the ironclad bull at all. Yi Tian was helpless. Immediately, he took out the shadow knife. The black shadow knife is much sharper than the iron knife. At least it can break through the defenses of the ironclad bull, and there's no one around, so he's not afraid of revealing his identity. Kill! Yi Tian turned into afterimages and attacked the ironclad bull again and again at an incredible speed. The ironclad bull had the intention of trampling Yi Tian to death, but speed was one of its major flaws. Its speed was much slower than Yi Tian's, and it couldn't attack Yi Tian at all. After countless attacks that lasted for a minute, the ironclad bull finally fell to the ground. Collect the blood of the beast. Yi Tian took out the kettle and collected a lot of fierce beast blood before he stopped. As for the rest of the fierce beast blood, he didn't take it. It's not that he didn't want to collect it, but he couldn't bring it. However, he still cut 10 caddies of ironclad beef, and it is said that the meat of ironclad beef is of good quality and tastes very good. Keep moving. An hour later, Yi Tian arrived at Shaoqingshan. Along the way, he was not without danger. Several times he encountered small beasts, and once encountered a very powerful beast, and he sensed the powerful pressure of the beast from afar. These times, he found a dark place and entered the shadow state in time to escape with his life, otherwise he would have died at the hands of the beast. And he really recognized the danger in the wild. It can be said that if there is no team acting together in the wild, the chance of a single person falling is more than 50%. Even if it's a hunting squad, if you don't perform well, you'll be wiped out. This is still because there are not too many fierce beasts near the base, and farther away, there are constantly more and more fierce beasts, more powerful and terrifying. Even if the martial artists of the entire Linhai base go together, they are also delivering food. Yi Tian had heard his parents mention before that the Linhai base was just in a remote corner. There were no resources nearby, and even powerful beasts were unwilling to come here, otherwise the Linhai base would have been destroyed long ago. When he came to Shaoqingshan, Yi Tian was not in a hurry to hunt the fierce beast. Right now, he had already obtained the blood of a very low-level fierce beast, and he was going to cultivate for a few days before hunting fierce beasts. So, he searched around, and finally found a small, hidden cave, and stayed for the time being. Chapter 18. This cave should be the lair of a certain fierce beast, but judging from the situation in the cave, it has been a long time since a fierce beast has entered here. It's estimated that the fierce beast is very likely to have died early, and it should be safe to cultivate in this cave for the time being. Yi Tian judged. So, he was relieved to start cultivating. After drinking a large mouthful of low-level fierce beast blood, Yi Tian cultivated the body forging method. With sufficient low-level fierce beast blood, Yi Tian cultivated in the cave for 5 days, and his strength also broke through again, reaching 900 caddies. However, after reaching the strength of 900 caddies, it became a little difficult to increase his strength, and the effect of low-level fierce beast blood was weakening. Yi Tian already knew about such a situation. His situation is relatively good. Although it's slow, he's still improving. Martial apprentices with low talent find it even difficult to advance after 900 caddies, and they need to spend more time and energy to increase their strength little by little, and finally break the bottleneck. After exhausting the blood of the fierce beast, Yi Tian hunted fierce beasts in Shaoqingshan, and every time he killed a fierce beast, he returned to the cave to cultivate. As for his usual food, it was all replaced by fierce beast meat. The nutrition and energy of fierce beast meat are far from comparable to ordinary food, and it also increased Yi Tian's strength to a certain extent. Hunt, cultivate, and hunt. And just like that, a month passed. In the cave, Yi Tian ended today's cultivation and sensed the strength of his body. It's close to 1,000 caddies of strength, but since yesterday, my strength has not improved. Presumably, I have reached the critical point of martial arts, in a bottleneck state. Once the bottleneck is broken, I can be promoted to the martial artist level. Yi Tian muttered. As for how to hit the bottleneck, he didn't think about it, but began to practice his sword technique. In the past month, he had occasionally practiced sword techniques. Although he had little cultivation time, after all, he had a medium sword talent, so his progress wasn't slow. Now, his bronze-level sword technique, shadow killing, has been cultivated to the peak level of Shaocheng, but it is very difficult to cultivate to the realm of Dacheng. According to the cheats, if the Dao realm of the sword is not up to the level of the sword potential, it is difficult to practice a bronze-level sword skill to the Dacheng realm. My Dao realm is already a complete knife shape, and I am only one step away from the sword momentum, so let's comprehend the sword momentum next. Yi Tian decided. The knife posture is to release one's own perception of the knife, forming a unique potential, and only if you have enough understanding of the knife technique can you comprehend the knife potential. Yi Tian didn't know how to perceive the knife momentum, so he kept practicing the knife. Knife after knife, constantly comprehending the mystery contained in the knife method, drinking the blood of the fierce beast when tired, and practicing the forging method. That's it. Another half a month has passed. This day, Yi Tian had a feeling in his heart, and countless insights about the knife came to his mind, and he couldn't help but close his eyes. Gradually, his momentum changed, like a knife, pressing the air around him, making the air around him sticky. Boom! The knife momentum exploded, and the invisible knife chi slammed into the surrounding stone walls, and countless stone powders fell off the stone walls. The knife is done. Yi Tian smiled slightly. Suddenly, he felt some kind of shackle in his body break. Is it? Yi Tian thought of a possibility, so he hurriedly drank a few mouthfuls of fierce beast blood and began to cultivate the body forging method. Streams of fierce beast blood energy filled his whole body, refining all parts of his body. What was different from the past was that Yi Tian clearly sensed that powerful power was emerging everywhere in his body, accelerating the refining of his physical body, making his body stronger and stronger. He knew that he had broken through and was being promoted from a martial apprentice to a martial artist level. I don't know how long it has been, but the metamorphosis of his body was over. Yi Tian exhaled a breath of turbidity, and immediately clenched his fists, sensing the powerful power contained in his body, and was immediately overjoyed. It's much stronger than before, and the strength has definitely broken the limit of 1,000 caddies, and it's indeed a martial artist. Yi Tian was promoted to a martial artist, and the purpose of coming to the wild this time was completed. However, he didn't think about going back now. He was going to go back after cultivating shadow killing to the Dacheng realm. Comprehending the sword momentum, Yi Tian had a deeper understanding of the sword technique, and it only took 3 days for him to completely comprehend shadow killing to the Dacheng realm. The shadow killing speed of the Dacheng realm was extremely fast. I'm afraid that even if a martial artist in the later stage doesn't pay attention to it, it will be difficult to avoid his move. In terms of strength, I estimate that I can compete with the middle stage of a martial artist, but it is still a lot worse than the late stage of a martial artist. The strength of the late stage of a martial artist is too strong, and there is Yuan force to protect the body. Even if shadow killing is powerful, it is useless to break through the opponent's defense. Yi Tian said darkly. In addition, Yi Tian found that the body forging method could no longer help him increase his strength. It is said that a martial artist can absorb Yuan Qi to improve his strength, but he does not know how to refine Yuan Qi. Therefore, he must return to the Linhai base to continue to improve his strength. It's time to go back. Yi Tian packed up his things, wrapped up the beast materials he had obtained during this time, walked out of the cave, and walked in the direction of the Linhai base. Linhai base, the gate of the East City. He didn't come back for a month. Yi Tian's clothes were all tattered, his face was dirty, and his body even exuded a strange smell. But the soldiers guarding the door didn't dare to underestimate Yi Tian, and they all cast envious and respectful looks. They knew that Yi Tian was a martial artist, and he was also a martial artist who had been in the wild for a long time, and such a martial artist was the most difficult to mess with. After entering the Linhai base, Yi Tian did not go home, but found a hotel nearby to live in, took a bath, changed clothes, and then returned home. When he returned home and saw Yi Yu who was studying, he was truly relieved. He was really afraid that he hadn't come back for a month, and Yi Yu had an accident at home, but fortunately, everything was normal. The next day, early in the morning, Yi Tian went out. He was going to the martial arts black market. The black market of warriors is located underground, and it is a place frequented by warriors, and it is also an area of activity for warriors. Martial apprentices and ordinary people are not qualified to enter the black market of martial artists. Only martial artists can enter. Yi Tian had heard of the martial arts black market a long time ago, but he had never entered it, and he was very curious about everything in the black market. Now, he has finally stepped into the martial arts level, so he naturally wants to take a look. What's more, he's going to buy some of the things he needs on the warrior black market,